Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Keda, the owner and creator of Painted Flowers, and this is a Growers Interview. I got into growing because it was for me, a humbling and life-saving experience. I had a tragic death in my family, lost my brother, and one thing we discussed was getting to this Zaza life together. So he introduced me to it. So in his honor, I started to study the plant and understand the plant in deeper ways than just smoking it and the hype around it. So that's what got me interested in growing. 2020, I grew my first grow and it came out better than decent. So that gave me the motivation to keep going. And from there, it was history. I knew that's what I was meant to do because I've been smoking for too long. It was time for the plant to start paying me back. In a way, that's how I feel. Like it's time for her to pay me. I didn't pay her enough, to be honest. Got Gelato in the air. Young Dolph, man. Like, for sure. I started out with Gelato my first 3 grows because that's my favorite strand. The reason Gelato is my favorite strand is because it has a great daytime high, but anytime you relax, it's going to fully affect your body. And it comes with a fruity and gassy terpene profile. I love gas, but I don't mind a nice little, quality taste on top of that. It reminds me of new school versus old school. I like Gelato, so I started to master Gelato. Of course, I talk to the plants. They talk back. I don't know how I quite understand, but yes, the plants talk to each other because sometimes you'll see how you'll have, me personally, I'll grow 5 different strands in one 5x5 and let them explore each other. If they're all feminized, somehow they seem to always lean towards one another, even if you have them on ropes. That's called communication. To me, I think they're like hugging or connecting or loving. Whichever it is, a female is always nurturing. So I think they always communicate. Yes, if you leave a sick plant in your garden, or a malnourished plant, or one plant that may feed stronger or heavier than another plant, and you seem to notice nitrogen deficiency or wiltering or overwatering because you're not paying attention to the actual genetics of each strand of the plant, it will affect your garden. It will affect the overall yield of your garden. It will cause stress on your garden. Stress is a no-no in your garden. That's a definite no. So yes, it's part of that communication. Man, difficulties with growing is so many, but for me, I can say time management. So for one to be a grower, you have to have the availability to pay attention to your garden. Anything neglectful as far as time, missing a feed, not knowing what's going on a daily basis, I'm not one of them. I'm a daily stalker to my garden. That's how I say it. I won't go 2 or 3 days without looking at my garden. It takes me 2 hours to water my plants when it may take my house sitter 45 minutes. The difference is I'm making a connection with my garden. So time management is my biggest challenge because I'm trying to do so many things. I'm a full-time student, I'm a full-time wife, I'm a full-time business owner and creator. So I ain't rich yet. I'm trying to still get it out the mud and make sure that I can do events and interviews and share my, charm with the world. So it's time management is a big thing for me. Of course, science is big important. So it's the major focus on growing. Nature is science to me. It's God's gift that it grows naturally from this earth, but you have to know the scientifics behind the strain, the dirt, the soil, the grass, everything, all the components of growing an organic plant or growing a plant in general to keep it at how can I say this, at a consuming factor. People are ingesting this, so you want to make sure that the science behind it is correct so that it can be proven to be smoking, it can be proven to be made into an edible. You want to make sure that aligns with your intuition. Now your intuition is that gut feeling that tell you shouldn't be putting X, Y, and Z in your grow. You know who you are. It's a few of you out there that use that X, Y, and Z, but what works for you works for you. So your intuition makes sure that you follow just the simple guidelines of growing a healthy plant, and then you add your sauce on top and still follow that basic science and follow that gut feeling. Both. Can't do one without the other. I've tried. So I've created the best environment, and I went cheap on my genetics. I've been given all kinds of free genetics. I like to support the community, so I'll buy and support and grow out other grower strands. And some of them strands created on accident or by mistake or just as a learning experience, so you never know the quality you're going to get. It wasn't until I started to study the genetics and understand the genetics when I started to understand that the environment and the genetics matters. And since then, I'm on my way to being a guru. I would say gas. I like the earth. I like that original feeling of weed. I don't like to taste chemicals or terpenator, purpinator, any sweeteners, any of that. Why? It takes away from the naturalness of the plant. I love the plant. I respect what she produces. So if she's giving me a musty undertone, a gassy undertone, a sweet undertone, I'll accept that because it's going to come off natural. I want that earthy, gassy profile. I like that. Of course. If you don't, you're going to lose in this game. Like, the way to get ahead in this game, as I preach, is to give the flowers while they're here. It's painted flowers. You know what I'm saying? If you give a grower their flowers while they're here, it's each one teach one community. I'm here to educate. So if I can learn something and share something, I'm going to do just that, because one grower to another, we all want to win. It's one way you may grow that I don't grow, but we may be doing some things that's similar. We might need to figure out how can we bring those things together and create a dynasty. I'm all for it. Share the wealth, you know what I'm saying? I'm not here to be stingy. I can't take the plant with me when I go. I got to be able to share the knowledge so somebody else can grow it. That's how I see it. That would be a crazy one. I admire a lot of growers in the DMV. I do. I try not to shy out of the DMV, but I'm my favorite grower. I say that because I'm just in tune with the plant. I feel a different way than other people is. And I'm not in this for the money. I'm in this for the knowledge and the education and the health behind it. So my benefits are greater than just money and recognition behind growing. I'm my favorite grower, and I admire a lot of local growers. I can't really say. I've done both. I simply use both methods when growing. If you're smoking painted flowers, you're getting synthetics and, well, not synthetics, you're getting salts and organics. I always build and make an organic compost, and that's what my plants start and nurture and grow in for first 45 days. It's not until mid-flower when I start to add the sauce to enhance the terpene profile, everything I wanted to make it look like, because you also have to know your audience, you know what I'm saying? So you have to be able to provide them with what they're looking for. Of course, I would want to go 100% organic and spend that type of money, but I don't have the time, not right now. So I can't start an argument between synthetics and organics, because it's simply based off your learning methods and your funding. So if I had to choose, I would say they're equally the same, because organics, people grow 100% organic, but they add certain things into their soils that is also not good for you. So if I'm going to do that, I might as well just grow the quicker and faster way, which is synthetic. Hell yes. Ego is hurting the grow community simply because one person will win something and think they're the greatest of all time. It's simply just not that simple. You had a good batch, God was on your side, now it's back to the drawing board. Never forget where you come from, because I've had plenty good batches. I've had a few hit or miss batches. Some people liked it, some people didn't. But I've had more goods than bads in this grow industry. I wouldn't say that I'm the greatest grower in the DMV, no. But can I compete? For sure. That's a good one. Oh man, I was young. I had just met my oldest brother for the first time. We had different parents, so I didn't know I had an older brother. And when I met him, he was already a stoner. And he was just like, you smoke? And I'm like, no. He was like, you do now, and handed me the J. That's my big brother. I ain't never had a big brother before. I'm like, okay, I do now. And I learned and I learned and I learned. And that's how I smoked. Was it a great experience? I can't remember because I was probably stoned. I do know I smoked Dro. That was my first J. It was a Dro and a grape cigarillo. And a grape cigarillo, yep. Who rolls the best blunts in America? Man, I've seen some great tokers, man. I will have to go with, it's a young boy I seen on YouTube. What is his name? I can't even remember his name. I watched it. However, somebody may know who he is. When he twists up, he rolls them to be about this thick, and he makes sure that everything is precisely done. And he uses honey to seal the deal. And the way he burns is kind of like he makes his own papers, it feels like, because he is always putting multiple papers together. And it's like a super J. But I'm gonna get back to you on that because I have the clip on my on my YouTube. I have it on my YouTube video. But besides him, me, because right now I have it documented that between my friends and my family, everybody asks me to roll up. And I'm talking about everybody asks me to roll up. I can't even tell you how many J's I've pearled in my time, but I took 3 packs of backwoods to perfect it a long time ago. A long time ago. I just want to tell everyone, as a grower, if you want to be a grower, I encourage you to become a grower. If you're interested and if you're in love with the plant, I encourage you to share that with the plant. Don't have a garden that you neglect, and don't go into any grow situation like you know it all. Every genetic is different. Even if you've grown the plant before, the next time you grow it, even if you clone it, it's going to grow different. It may grow more aggressive. It may not grow as aggressive. Just pay attention and really love the plant for what the plant can offer you and can provide you. Because at the end of the day, she's given to you as you give to her. So if you neglect her, she will neglect you. That's how I feel. And don't forget to be painted, man. Like, painted flowers means there's pain in you. So that's why you smoke this flower. Whether it's mental, physical, emotional, you're in pain some type of way, you're suffering some type of way, you're trying to escape something. So figure out what that is. Find your own individuality, find your own intuition, be your own person, and be painted.